What if I told you there was one missing feature that could fix WordPress? By the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly what I think that feature is and why, once you see it, you'll wonder how the WordPress site editor ever shipped without it. My name is Dave Smith, long-time WordPress contributor and core team member, and if you're ready, let's dive in. Before I show you the fix to WordPress, I need to show you the problem that we're facing today. On my site here, I have a number of different pages. So I have a shop listing page. I have an individual shop single item page for a product. I have a sample page, just a general content. And of course I have my home page, which I haven't really fleshed out. And this, I think, is the mental model that most users bring to WordPress today. They think a website is comprised of pages, and that's pretty understandable, and it sounds quite logical. But unfortunately, there are two fundamentally different types of pages that exist in WordPress today. The first type is pages that you deliberately create yourself. These are hand-curated pages built of sections which you chose to add in the WordPress site editor. So if you go to Pages, and then you add a new page, you can then choose to add into that page any type of content you want and build out the sort of page design that you wish, ultimately ending up with a handcrafted page. But there is also another type of content that exists on WordPress sites commonly, and that is dynamically generated pages. Now, dynamically generated pages are produced by WordPress from content that you have added. And these content types often custom posts. And a good example is products. So if I go into WordPress today and I go into my list of products, we can see the list of products. And what WordPress does is it dynamically creates a page for you for each one of those product types using a template to control the way that displays. And the problem is that this distinction is not well surfaced in WordPress in the site editor today. The first problem that we encounter is what I've just shown you. We tell everyone that to manage your website, you go to the site editor. But unfortunately today in the site editor, you can only manage one of those two types of content easily, and that is the manually created pages. If you're looking for other types of pages that are dynamic, it's a little bit more cryptic about where you might go to find that. The second problem is that to actually add more content, so for example, adding a new product, you have to leave the site editor entirely and go back to a completely different interface, which is WP Admin, which is where you can manage and add new product types. So there's already this disconnect, quite a strong disconnect between where you are adding content and where you're controlling how that content looks. And that's pretty confusing. Now, the next problem we have is that we are asking users to understand the idea that these pages are dynamically generated from templates. And if we go to our templates section, let's assume users finally figure this out, they are met with a wall of different types of template here. And let's be honest, unless you are quite experienced with WordPress, it's very easy to become confused about which template is the correct one here, because it showcases the entire template hierarchy, even going down as far as index PHP. If you don't know what the template hierarchy is, it's quite a confusing topic, but it basically allows more specific templates to be used for certain content types, but also ensuring there is a default fallback should a more specific template not exist. If you want to control, for example, how your shop page is laid out, you need to edit the product catalog template. But this is completely out of context from where you are adding the actual products themselves. And overall, I think this adds up to what is a particularly confusing experience for WordPress. And it's one that we urgently need to fix. So here is where the one missing feature that I think could fix WordPress comes in. Bringing all content types into the site editor with their templates surfaced in context alongside them. Now, it's much easier for me to show you rather than tell you how I think this could be solved. And to do that, I'm going to drop into a prototype demo that myself and Francisco Vera created as part of Radical Speed Month at Automatic. And I've covered this in a bit more detail in a previous video, which I'll link down below in the pinned comment. So please go and check that out for context about why we did this and what it is. But it does allow me to showcase the idea I've been talking about that will fix WordPress. So in this vision of the site editor, all content types, including pages, are surfaced in the site editor. So you will notice this content item here. And if I click on it, what I see is a list of the content types or public custom post types, if you're a bit more technical, on my WordPress website. And you can see I've got posts, which is the default post type built into WordPress today from its blogging heritage. I also have product and events. And for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to take us into products to have a look. So we immediately can drop into products here. And this is all using WordPress componentry from modern WordPress. So this is actually what we call a data view, and it's from the latest design system. And it allows us to view, filter, add, search for all types of content that are products in this case. So this means that you can manage adding new content all within the site editor interface. Okay, so far so good. But what also we are doing in this demo is we are adding the idea of surfacing the templates that control the design of the way that products are displayed on your site alongside the content. So as you see here, templates, we've dropped in here, and immediately we see a preview of the product listing template, and you can click to see a preview of the single product template. Now, those who are more experienced will immediately be asking, what about the other types of template that you might need for products? Or what about product search or having a specific template for a specific category? Well, yes, we haven't included those. And the reason why we're not including those is because we are trying to simplify this interface for people and avoid exposing them to the entire template hierarchy when, in honestly, they don't really need to know about it. What the most websites, and I'd wager at least 80%, need to care about are the display of how products are listed and the display of how products are shown when they are single. And that applies to any post type, a list of events and a single event, a list of posts and a single post. It almost always plays out like that. So in this case, we can see we've got two, they are both active templates, and at any point I can drop in to edit those templates and I can change anything I want about them. And then when I'm done, I can go back out and I'm back into my products area. Of course, this should remain highlighted. But this is not stopping us from accessing the full creative power of WordPress either, because if you do have a more complex use case, such as you might want to add a special template that controls the rendering of a specific product category, and that's quite a niche thing to ask for, but if you want that, you do need to go through here in this, what we're calling a progressive disclosure gateway, something that allows you to access complexity when you need it. You can go through and you can access the full template hierarchy here, just like you can in the site editor today. So you are not disadvantaged if you are an advanced user. You still have all the power. We're just simplifying what people see by default. So that's an overview of how this works, but there's another element here at play, and we can see it if we go to events, because there will be some occasions where there is not a custom template provided by your theme for a particular content type. So let's say you install an events management plugin and it registers an events custom post type, but your theme hasn't been created with custom templates for rendering an event listing or an event signal. Now, if you know your template hierarchy, you'll know that it will automatically fall back to use archives and single template types. That's the way that the fallback hierarchy system works. But what we're doing is we're actually rendering two placeholders for event listing and event single even. And we show these as inactive to show that there are not currently any custom templates set up to control the way these are displayed. So when you go to edit this, and if you want to make changes to the way your events are listed and shown, when you click edit, it actually will show you a warning to explain that events are currently listed using a default listing template. And if you want to customize those events, you need to create a custom event listing template. So we're guiding the user to create the right action for them if they want to customize how this looks. So if we do that, then it would create the custom event listing template. You change it, you click save, and hey presto, you would have the custom event listing. To recap, the key things that we're proposing to change and fix about WordPress are to bring all content types into the site editor for management purposes. We have the tools for this today, we just need to bring it in. And also to show templates rendered in context alongside them, and also obfuscating the full complexity of the template system. Everything we've covered here today is part of a wider argument, and that is that the site editor and WordPress should be based around what users want to do and not how WordPress itself is built. And I believe that bringing content types into the editor and surfacing the templates that generate pages alongside them will be a big win to fix WordPress in 2026. But that's just my opinion. I want to know what you think. Please check out the pinned comment down below where there will be a link to the prototype which I showed you today, which you can play with and experiment with yourself. And then all you have to do is drop into the comments and leave me your thoughts. And as someone who works on WordPress core, I can try and ensure that this kind of feedback gets incorporated into the discussions that are happening with core team members. If you enjoyed this video, please do consider hitting that like button. And if you want to hear more content around site editor complexity and how we're thinking about solving it, then make sure you subscribe to the channel now so that you don't miss upcoming videos in this series where we're going into more detail about the prototype I've shown you today and how we're going to improve WordPress in 2026. But for now, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time.